Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have the latest from the live radar, run through the weather warnings as we still do have a yellow rain warning issued across parts of northern England and southern Scotland, as we are still going to see some more persistent rain through the rest of this evening into the early hours of Friday. However, for most, it is now turning drier after abysmal last few days. Starting on Tuesday afternoon, we've seen pretty much 48 hours of constant rain in some areas, but it is now starting to fizzle out. That weather front and that trough is starting to move away and lose its intensity. As we head through much of Friday into the start of Saturday, we'll be dry, but as we head into the weekend, we will see the pressure lower once again, and we could start to see showers and thunderstorms return pretty widely, as we do see another trough moving in more from the west though. We'll have a look at that in detail on the latest UKV, and you'll be able to see that the temperatures actually don't look too bad. You could even see mid-20s where we do avoid the thunderstorms, and that's because with the low pressure system coming in off the Atlantic, it could draw up a very warm southerly wind on its leading edge. And then we'll have a look at the longer range, look at the latest GFS, GM, Eastern UF and the ensembles. And as we saw yesterday, it is still looking exceptionally changeable, very up and down. Quite a few runs today, though, do develop some low pressure near us to start June. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be cold or anything too cool. It could actually be really warm with a southeasterly flow coming in, but it will mean that there is quite a high chance it does remain unsettled with showers and thunderstorms sticking around. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe. And remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now if you start on the live radar, you can see for most it is now turning drier, but you still see this big area of green and dark green here, which is still that heavy rain, the remnants still across parts of southern Scotland, extending into northern England. It will fizzle away through this evening, but we still have warnings issued till the early hours of Friday. Now, where we have avoided that rain, it has got up. The temperatures have risen, especially in the southeast corner. You can see here a bit of a dividing line where we've seen some warmer air moving in. Here, temperatures in and around the high teens, but for most, with a lot of wet conditions still on the ground, and with generally pretty chilly air behind that trough, it is not quite as warm, more towards average or below average for the time of year. Now, if you look at the weather warnings, we have this one final warning issued for southern Scotland extending towards northern England, and it started earlier on Wednesday, and it goes until 3 a.m. on Friday. Again, most of the heavy rain has now cleared, but we could still see another 10 to 20 millimetres in a few areas, and that could accumulate to maybe as much as 50 to 100 millimetres in some areas. So the warning is still in force, but the majority of the significant rain has now passed. We're just seeing more moderate precipitation falling onto very wet ground. So still could be issues, but we're not expecting the very high rainfall rates that we've seen in the past couple of days, and we are expecting it to fizzle out by Thursday sunrise. Now, do have a look at the latest UKV. You can see that rain in northern England continuing through the rest of this evening, but slowly fizzling away into Friday. And you can see by Friday mid-morning, we still have a few patches of lighter rain, but for most, it has now dissipated away. Into Friday afternoon, it's actually a pretty dry day. Still showers in the north, but we do start to see a few areas of sunshine peeking through further southwards, which does look pretty decent. Temperatures here could get up to 20 degrees. As we head into Saturday, again, we do start to see some sunshine. It actually doesn't look too bad before we see another weather front coming in from the southwest and from the west in general. That doesn't look particularly great. Could be pretty heavy with that moving in, and we could even see some thunderstorms perhaps overnight into Sunday. And then behind that weather front, then we see a big outbreak of heavy showers and storm activity into Sunday afternoon. Lots of pop-up storms here, lots of darker reds appearing. So yeah, it could be pretty horrible in some areas. As we head into Monday, still plenty of showers and storms around, but we do start to see perhaps some more persistent rain moving in from the west, but it does struggle to move in coming up against the higher pressure. So it's not a complete washout as we head into the weekend and starts next week, but definitely going to see quite a few heavy showers and some storms in places. So if you have a look at those max temperatures now, you can see during this afternoon, maybe 19, 20 degrees in the far southeast, but for most into the mid to low teens, actually probably below average for the time of year. As we head into Friday, temperatures will start to recover, but they won't recover in some areas further northwards and westwards where it's still cold or cool for the time of year, elsewhere mid to high teens. As we head into Saturday, it does start to look better, widely towards that 19 to 22 degree range, looking pretty positive indeed. And then as we head into Sunday, again, look at that 18 to 20 degrees, looks really quite decent. Not as warm as it's been recently, but decent compared to what we have had the last couple of days. And then finally, as we head into Monday, again, temperatures struggling a little bit more with more persistent cloud and a bit more rain. So not looking amazing through the weekend. Showers, storms around, temperatures do recover, but really only going back towards average or slightly above. And that kind of sets the scene for the medium to longer range as well, where it is going to continue to be fairly changeable. Now, if you have a look at that latest GFS run, you can see the trough slowly clearing to the north over the coming hours, kind of filling in as it does, and we see high pressure starting to take control. Low pressure tries to slide in off the Atlantic, and that could give us our showers and storms through the weekend. And as we head into the middle of next week, we do see another trough moving through. You can see they're fairly weak, and they do lose in their intensity as they do push in, but they are still there, so still has some instability. But longer range, we do see a bit more of a northerly flow, unfortunately, which doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be horrible in terms of the sort of wetness, but it could mean we do see more in turn of below average temperatures. You can see more persistent northerly winds appearing in, not something we've seen recently, so again, I don't know how much kind of attention to give this, as it's not really cropped up all too much. But you see pretty chilly air masses and well below average for the time of year, unfortunately. So not looking great from this latest GFS. Again, I've got a little bit of doubts whether this will come off, but definitely suggesting it here as we head into early June. A bit of a flip from what we've had recently, or we've seen recently from the models, which is very much up and down with warmer spells within it. Here, just going persistently cool. If you look at the latest GM, again, low pressure clearing to our north, high pressure trying to build in, but you can see there are little pesky lows drifting through. And then as we head towards the end of the run, again, we do see a bit of a northerly flow setting up. It's not fully pushing in, so it's not cold at this stage, but we're starting to see those temperatures dropping below average for the time of year. So again, GM perhaps suggesting something a bit chillier there. Definitely more changeable. It's not as much of a direct northerly as the GFS, but still suggesting perhaps some slightly chillier air masses drifting in. We do finally compare to the ECMWF, again, low pressure clearing away, high pressure trying to build in, but seeing these little pesky lows drifting through. And then again, towards day 10, we could see again another northerly wind. I do think it's all down to the fact that we see this high pressure drifting more out to the Atlantic. Here it's not too bad, as there's still a bit of warmer air trying to tap into it, but definitely suggestive of something slightly chillier, perhaps in that medium to longer range from these latest runs. Now, to finish by looking at the latest ensembles, unfortunately the latest GFS hasn't fully come out, but we'll have a look at the 6 o'clock run, and there is some suggestion of something slightly chillier, but we were seeing something slightly more warmer yesterday, so again, might just be the models wobbling a bit here, but generally plenty of ensemble members above, plenty of ensemble members below average for the time of year, so very mixed. And you can see plenty of showers, lots of precipitation spikes, but nothing too huge. They're not suggesting a big walls of rain like we've seen over the past few days, but definitely suggestive of showers and storms. And if we do finish by looking at the latest ECMWF ensembles, again, very changeable, so very warm runs, very hot runs actually there towards early June, but above the 20-degree isotherm, that's heat wave levels, or significant heat wave levels, that's kind of mid-30s or high 30s there, but then plenty of cooler runs, and quite a few of those runs have got some moderate amounts of precipitation, again fairly similar to the GFS. So for the time being, turning showery, turning maybe thundery through the weekend, and then turning much more changeable for the rest of May and for the start of June. I don't think it's set in stone, but definitely that is what we're seeing at the moment. So anyway, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.